Let me make sure I'm online. Okay. Hello, I'm Alex from A.P.Ink. So today I'm going to be picking up where I left off last time, which is working on this painting of this scene from Disney's The Little Mermaid, the animated movie from 1989. So this is my reference. That's your reference if you want to draw along or paint or whatever. So today we're going to find out exactly how much I can reactivate these colored pencils that have had about a day to dry now. I'm thinking not too much, if at all, but I want to try to continue to build up the color tone on the foreground, I think, and then continue to try to block in the statue of Eric here, and then we'll worry about the background. I'm going to be trying to pay attention to the time a bit more today. Yesterday I ran way over, but yeah, I am just going to get into this. So I've got both of these blues, both of these greens. I think I might pull in purple to help push the shadows. So that's the purple. I'm still not sure if I want to pull in yellow. One, I'm not sure how much it's actually gonna stand out against the colors that have already been built up here. Yellow tends to be a bit more light, weak compared to some other colors. And I was just thinking I could pull in orange, but that wouldn't really work because I'm sure the yellow here in the reference is probably gold. This is dark blue. I know there are some water-soluble supplies out there that you can like reactivate the next day or even later, I think. But I'm thinking that might just be gouache or maybe a higher end watercolor supply that I don't have. I am a firm believer that you don't need expensive art supplies to create anything. You just need practice. I mean, sometimes more expensive art supplies come in handy when it comes to how opaque something is. But I think most of it is just your own ability. Your own artistic ability and your ability to learn how the supply or medium that you're using works. And then just here with the front edge of so the front edge of this meets up with like the back edge of the second pillar. I'm going to add purple to help try to push the shadow and try to create a break so that it doesn't look like both of these are on the same plane or on the same level. Try to push the shadow on this trunk. This is the lighter green. Again, I know the frame looks a bit more gold on this mirror. But I don't think yellow would really stand out, so green. And then the lighter blue to push the shadows on the mirror. I meant to grab purple and I grabbed blue. That's the problem with these art supplies that have no color indication on them. You just have to guess based on the actual core of the material or the pencil and the tip, which I don't know if you guys can tell the difference on camera, because for that, this is dark blue, this is purple, this is black. They look the same, don't they? There's a slight difference just here. Okay, we'll wet that and see. I was gonna say we'll wet that and see how it looks, but I think we'll wet that and then move back over here to the statue. See, I think that's still not dark enough. I still want to try to keep this kind of highlight. So I gotta try to be careful not to go over that. Don't know if this is really coming off as a chest as much as it's just looks like a blue lump. Okay, I'm gonna go dry this really quick, and then, like I said, we'll move back to the statue. I will be right back. Okay. This isn't exactly where I want it to be, but I've learned with these pencils that you can only layer so much and then it just stops doing anything. I think what I'm going to have to try to do is in another project actually purposely try to layer up as much as I can and then seal it. I've got a spray sealer for colored pencils and graphite art pieces. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but I'm curious if these would actually build up more if put in that situation. Anyways, so I need to finish trying to block out Prince Eric here. I think so. I haven't seen the live adaptation, but I've seen clips here and there. And in the live adaptation, the it doesn't make any sense to me. So this statue was supposed to be a present for Eric's birthday, I believe. And in the live adaptation, they're trying to say that this statue was on the deck of the ship under like a cloth of some sort for however long they've been at sea, and Prince Eric never noticed it. Maybe out of context, there are some details missing, but that just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it makes sense. whenever I get to add water to this, we'll try to erase that. My scale just is not right here. See, in the reference, the kind of crown feature here is nowhere near his left thigh. But I thought I hadn't made the medallion big enough. I also have it in like the wrong proportion. It should be a little bit more at an angle and less like straight on. So a bit more like a squished circle. Maybe that'll help. Don't know if erasing is really the best option here, because I think it starts erasing some of the wash that I put down. It's supposed to be an E, but the highlights and the shadows make it look funny. I'm not sure exactly what all this E is supposed to look like, because what I'm seeing doesn't make any sense. Oh. But, okay, my problem is I've either started drawing him too far forward, which it looks like I did, but I also haven't put in the arm yet. So maybe I did put him in a bit too forward, because the only way I can make the leg connect so that the foot actually rests here on the medallion is to bring his leg down a bit. Okay, this isn't gonna 100% be the same. I hope I said this yesterday, but I'm hoping even if it doesn't look 100%, it still comes across proper. Excuse me. I'm stopping because um I've neglected to leave enough space for his waist. So I'm drawing him too big, I guess. How can I make this work? Um, okay, I mean, in the reference, I think both knees are slightly bent, and I think I've drawn this one a bit more straight. So if I can get him to semi-squat, I might be able to make this work without needing to restart. So I'm just trying to figure how. But I don't think this actually makes too much difference. So his outfit here seems to me like he's got a lot going on. He's got a cape on, he's got puffy sleeves, shoulder sleeves. I know English. Um, Gloves, boots, and a belt. Let me make sure I'm still online, because I have this feeling that maybe I got kicked off. I got kicked off at some point. feel like my sword here is too fat, which it might just be. Because I thought at first glance that this was um, just a straight flat blade, but it looks like it might actually have a bit of a taper from whatever this part of the sword is called, to the tip of the blade. So it starts out a bit narrow and then like fattens out, widens out. Think I got kicked off again. I'm not sure what's wrong with my internet. Okay, I think what I'm going to try to do is try to finish roughing in the statue, and I might call it there. I was hoping to get further than this, but if I'm going to do this offline, I'd rather not have a camera in front of my face. And then can't forget the platform that the whole statue is on. So it looks like with how the cape actually falls, that it doesn't just drape over his shoulder and fall. It drapes over his shoulder, and then it looks like it might kind of like drape over his arm, which lets it fall this way instead of going from his shoulder down. I hope you guys could actually see that. So his cape, I'll show it here. So here, his cape drapes over his shoulder and then swoops down this way. So I think this is part of his cape, so it's like draped over his arm. Because if it came over his shoulder, it would just come down. Just comparing what I've got to the reference. So there's some kind of emblem on the sash he's wearing. I don't know what it is. Okay. I was hoping to get further than this, but we've got the statue roughed in. It doesn't seem like my internet has stabilized at all. So I am gonna leave this one here. If you'd like to see me progress this further, please make sure that you're following me and that your notifications are turned on so that you're notified for the next time I go live. But other than that, thank you to anybody who watched or watches. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.